Oh, that pulse bomb, you gotta watch it. Does it catch anyone? It gets rid of Cluck. Another crucial member of Classified is now down, but Chisakita comes alive.
That gets two beats only on themselves. They're gonna get the touch here. It will force goes up. They just have to live long enough to have some help from the here, but they immediately lose their first. And the rest of their team already two, make it three. Numbers of the crackers around. The PP Plunderers can taste it. They're gonna love it.
363 regular season matches. Over 600 players, 92 teams, 4 skill divisions, all in the search of one title.
These 8 teams have poured their blood, sweat, tears, their very hearts and souls into getting to this point.
The moment we've all been waiting for is finally here.
A journey that's been filled with triumph, with loss, with the anticipated, and with the unexpected.
From dominant performances to nail-biting tiebreakers, and every player putting it all on the line.
We have our underdogs, who've come out of nowhere and taken everyone by surprise. We also have top teams from previous seasons, coming back and looking to rewrite their story. They're now here, hungrier than ever, trying to learn from past defeats and ascend to the throne.
For some, this is a chance to make history. For others, it's to make up for the past. To make up for you're getting so close, but failing to reach it.
4 teams who have constantly fought to be the best in the limelight. 4 teams who have battled through the darkest nights to reach the dawn.
This is it. The final stretch. The battle for the title of champion.
The stakes are high, the competition is fierce. This is where legends are made.
One last gauntlet remains, separating these 8 teams from calling themselves champions.
Good evening, everybody. This is it. The end of the season for these 2 teams. I mean, we've got an excellent matchup here in our Transcendence tier, our Masters tier here in Tranquility. We've got MI7 versus Amnesia for everything. I am joined tonight on the mic by the incredible Dexatron. I just gotta know, Dex, are you ready to go?
Man, I am incredibly ready to go. These 2 teams have a lot of history between each other here. MI7 has been going up against Nostalgia Org in the last 2 grand finals they're in. Now they're going up against at Nostalgia Org again for the 3rd straight time. This time, though, they're looking to win it for the first time.
Yeah, I mean, 3 straight grand finals appearances for MI7 previously, both of them in the Discord tier. Now in the Transcendence tier, once again, going up against their rival Org. I mean, Dex, they're confident that they can come out with this win. They think that they are stronger than they've ever been. I mean, they are ready to go. As we see here, our bracket I mean, MI7 has not dropped a map throughout this just champions bracket. Not the playoff. I don't actually know the entire playoff. Yeah, MI7 won one game in the winners bracket, moved straight onto the champions bracket. I mean, they have not dropped a single map. Amnesia on the other side of the bracket lost 2 maps to Dapper Dynasty, but looking to put the hurt and potentially an upset here of MI7, who is, you know, the 1 seed in this bracket.
Yeah, absolutely. But when you look at everything for these two teams have by far been the best 2 teams in the Transcendence Tier all season long. 1 and 2 in the standings, the best map differential of any other team in this tier. I mean, it's not a shock to see them here. And honestly, I feel like a lot of people, once we saw this championship bracket, saw them at opposite ends, they knew this was going to probably be the grand finals.
Yeah, I mean, these 2 teams are, like you said, the best of the best in the Transcendence Tier. And, you know, as we get ready for this this grand final, we do have some pre-recorded interviews with some of the players on these teams. So first, we are going to cut it to, I believe, MI7 here first, and we'll get an interview with Hunter Tane to see how MI7 is feeling about this matchup.
Welcome back, everybody, as we are now here with Gliscor over from MI7. And first and foremost, congratulations on a fantastic season and making your way to the grand finals. And getting to this position, it's a very tough thing to do, but you guys have persevered. So I kind of want to ask about your journey as a team throughout the season from start to now finish.
Well, thank you for congratulating us. I mean, it's been a wild ride for MI7 for sure. We had a lot of, beginning of the season problems. We had a lot of problems with players missing time. We had, a ringer for about our first 3 matches. We had some internal problems with, finding support players. So we had to find some new support players to come up and step up for us. But once we got our groove going and we started scrimming consistently with each other, the synergy came there and we were able to, we haven't lost a match yet. So, I mean, overall, it's been a success.
Yeah, and that's a very rare thing you kind of see at this point. Like, even some of the best teams that we're looking at right now have taken a loss or 2 within their finals, but you go flawless in that first group. The only one you technically lose, which is to Wastelands, which of course they are not here for good reason, so that's wiped off to the record. And looking through these play-ins and the playoffs, you guys have yet to drop a map at this point, which that's an insane feat in its own right. So now when you head back into Amnesia here in the grand finals, is there this bit of like pressure of how perfect you guys have been, and now this expectation that you guys need to uphold that?
Not really, no. I mean, we expected to, if we were going to make finals, that this was the team we were going to be playing against. So, I mean, we're going into it, hoping that it ends in that type of fashion. We don't want it to be a nail biter, but at the same time, it doesn't matter what the score is as long as we win. If we win a 4-3 with a draw, we play 8 maps, 3 hours, that's fine. As long as we get the win off, I mean, that's fine with me. That's fine with the team.
Yep. I would definitely love to see the nail biter personally, as a caster and as a watcher and as a player. I would love it. But of course, you talk about your team, you talk about all the amazing people that you have gotten to play with so far throughout the season, and it's a big group of people. Looking at the roster sheet as well, a lot of people I've had the honor of being able to cast and go against personally. So, give me a quick little rundown of like how well this team has performed, and like maybe shout out a few of your team members in the process.
Yeah, I mean, I won best tank in Transcendence Tier, but I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be in that position if it wasn't for my teammates. My DPS players, Laura, Tannic B, Winta, who came in later, who's been, he's been on the bench, but he's been a real, someone helping me mentally, keeping me there mentally. I've been friends with him for a while, so I wouldn't be in the position without my DPS players. And my supports, Grizzly, Flames of Ra, both of them have been super supportive, and they've been, behind my back, keeping me up so I don't feed in most of these fights here. So overall, every single person has done the most that they can to kind of, keep this team at the top of its game. And any one person that wouldn't be a part of it, we had somebody else, it wouldn't be the same. The team that we have together has been really awesome to work with, and I'm confident that we can get it done on Tuesday.
Yep, I love to see that team mentality. Now, before we do get out of here, before we go, are there any words that you want to give to the members of Amnesia before we head out here?
I mean, there are several, but I mean, I guess we could keep it brief and say, Rocket, I'm calling you out, man. Everyone calls you trash as a joke, but we're gonna trash on you for real. So, good luck.
All right, well, we definitely love to see it. So that was Gliscor from MI7. It's going to be one heck of a battle, but we're going to send it back to the desk for now. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
All right, welcome back, everybody. And as we exit the interview, thank you to Hunter for doing that for us. We're going to get a look at our starting lineup for the number 1 seed, MI7. It's going to be Tanic B and Laurer on the DPS, Gliscor on the tank, and Grizzly and Flames of Raw holding it down in the backline. What do you think about this team, Dex?
I mean, you just look at this team right here. Across this starting lineup right here, you have 3 All-Stars and 2 Role-Stars. Tanic B, Gliscor, and Flames of Raw are your All-Stars, and your Role-Stars were Laurer and Tank here. So that kind of just tells you this team is already set up to be good here. There's a lot of talent on this team, like we heard Gliscor talk about there in that interview. Everyone here is a great player. They are here for a reason, and some of these players have already got that recognition for getting here.
Yeah, I mean, what a talented team that MI7 is, but I'd be remiss to say that Amnesia is not talented. So, okay, welcome back. I was a little bit confused about that one, but I'd be remiss to say if Amnesia is not just as talented as MI7, they are our number 2 seed for a reason. So, once again, Hunter is going to we're going to head over to Hunter, who had an interview with a representative from Amnesia.
Hey, welcome for joining us as we are here today with Mattson over from Amnesia. Now, first of all, Mattson, congratulations on a very well done season and making it into the grand finals.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much for that. It's been a lot of work put in to make this happen, but just happy we at least made it to this part.
Yeah, and I'm definitely curious about that journey because obviously, this is more than just one match. This is over the course of not just 3 months, but all the preparation going into that in the preseason. So, in some quick words, what was that journey like going from start to finish? How does the confidence keep rising, the skill level keep rising up with this team?
Mm-hmm. Well, I joined the team kind of last minute because I was talking with Rocket. And he was complaining about not being able to find good DPS players for the team, and I was like, oh, I'll play. Half as a joke, half kind of being I kind of want to play on a team again after maybe a year-ish of not playing in any community tournaments, anything like that. And then from there, it was really tough towards the start, trying to learn to play comps correctly, just doing things right. Because we're all just kind of running around like headless chickens kind of thing, Only a couple of us have really played together before. But just through VODing, through coaching, we did end up, getting better, and obviously we wouldn't have gotten to this point if we didn't, so.
Yeah, you're definitely correct about that. And when you kind of talk about the situation, you talk about how much this team has grown, because when we look back on that week 1 situation, the one team that you have given any single loss to is MI7. So now you're going to a situation where you're going to be facing the only team that has given you guys a loss. So what's the confidence difference from that week 1 matchup to now in the grand finals 3 months later?
Yeah. So week 1, I want to say it was a throwaway game because, obviously we're still trying to, win no matter what. But it was very much we knew going in, okay, we're not favored to win this. These guys have been playing together for 10 millennia, right? They know exactly how they're doing things kind of thing. And we've only been playing together for maybe 3 weeks. And even then, very sparsely before the season actually started. So we tried to win, but, obviously it didn't happen. But coming into this game, though, we're a lot more confident. We've been playing a lot more. We've been going a lot more seriously, actually trying to get better at comps and, doing things correctly recently as well. So we're pretty confident going into the game.
Yeah, it definitely sounds like it. And when you kind of talk about that, obviously, I've been on the reception of quite a few head clicks from you earlier in this season. And of course, that does come down to a lot of your other teammates as well, whether that's Brian, your little DPS duo, you have Dawes on the tank, and then Rocket and Noct on the support. So I kind of want to quickly ask, how like, obviously you're proud of these guys, but I want to know, how proud are you about how much this team has grown from a team that took that initial loss to a team that now is like par for par, has a 50-50 shot going into these grand finals?
Yeah. Well, I can say at least like I'm at least satisfied, I guess, with like how my teammates have played. I think everyone's really good. But I want to say especially Dawes, I think, has gotten a lot better. He's so receptive to coaching. You just have to like tell him what to do, and then he just like does it. It's crazy. And then he could actually play characters like to his strengths and like flex his mechanics and get kills and stuff like that. Apart from him, I can't say confidently that anyone's really improved too much, because we're all just like good for to begin with. You just have to figure out how to actually play together, kind of thing. But at least in Brian's case, it like works out when he shows up, because he wasn't there for like half the games because he's being busy and stuff.
Oh yeah, well, that's about gonna wrap things up here. But before we go, do you have any last words for your opponents, MI7, here in this matchup coming up?
I hope it'll be a fun game. At least I'm confident it'll be a fun game. We'll see how things end up. Just looking forward to it. Really excited for it. I also have some finals on the same day as well, so hopefully I'm not boomed by the time the game starts.
Well, we can only hope so. So congratulations once more on a good season, and best of luck in the grand finals. But for now, we'll send it back to the desk.
All right, welcome back. Thank you to Hunter for both interviews, and for Mattson and Gliscor for doing the interviews. As we get a look at Amnesia's lineup, we've got Brian and Mattson on the DPS, Dawes on the tank, Noct and Rocket on the support. Dex, what do you feel? How are you feeling about this team?
Again, a lot like MI7. 4 all-stars on this team. Mattson, Dawes, Noct, and Rocket. All all-stars. Rocket was the role star for the flex support here. So when you look across these two teams, 7 all-stars and 3 of the role stars. It just kind of shows you how good both these teams are coming in here. Remember, there's only 16 all-stars. Almost half of them came from just these two teams. But, from what I've seen from this team, this is a very solid team. Just like MI7, it's going to be a great series here tonight.
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited, man. These are, two of the best. Two of the best, right? They're 1A, 1B. I mean, there's so little separating their talent that I can see from what I've watched. Man, I'm really, really hoping for a great match here. I mean, like I said, MI7 and Amnesia, they're both really confident in their ability to win this game. Amnesia knows that they slipped up a little bit against Dapper Dynasty, but according to them, they've shored up their holes, and they think that they're running at full power here coming into this match. So, I'm really, really excited, man. And, that said, we do have a new patch out today. The meta has really been, and both of these teams have really been running the meta of the Sigma Poke Brawl that has been just dominant across all high levels of Overwatch for the last month or two, right? But I do think that there is a chance that we can see some other stuff. Winston, Tracer, Sombra all got pretty big buffs, right? So I would not be surprised if we see more reliance on some dive maps. We do have Watchpoint Gibraltar in the map pool, so I wouldn't be surprised if we go over there, which, is a good mix-up and has been throughout the entirety of the playoffs. I mean, unfortunately, Malga came out today. Malga is not available to play in the series. I don't know if y'all were excited for that, but just going to nip that in the bud. He's not available, but yeah, with this patch, what are your thoughts, Dex?
I mean, I want to run some parallels by you right now. When these two teams met in week 1, as Hunter brought up, it was MI7 beating Amnesia 3-1 in that one. But you want to know what also happened week 1? A new patch dropped. So a lot of parallels in this one here tonight. And me and you were talking about this before we went live. We don't really expect to see a lot of this new stuff, or a lot of new patch stuff come out tonight. But we would not be surprised to see if there are some teams that have been working, or either of these teams have been working on it. The coach for Amnesia Capital did tell us that they were kind of messing around with some stuff in expectance for this patch. And when you go over to the side of Capital or MI7 with Optical, they were talking about, almost the same things, but they were very confident in that comp they ran in their semifinal as well. But Fletch, we know what our first map of the night will be. we're going to be heading to the mountains of Nepal.
I feel like this is a really, really strong map for that Sigma Brawl, right? I mean, all of these maps have super strong flank potential, and you know, all of that leads to I think the Sigma. We're probably going to see the Sigma here. Well, I don't think we're going to see anything different. I mean, that's just been the choice for everybody in high level Overwatch. I mean, we could maybe see Reinhardt. I don't, really expect Reinhardt come out. I do think it is worth noting Sigma did receive a little bit of a nerf in this patch. I don't think it's going to be anything groundbreaking. They nerfed the regeneration of Sigma's shield, so that I think we could see that be a factor. You're not going to have as much uptime for that projected barrier, so we might see some adaptations because of that. But I think mostly coming into this map, we're just going to see the same old, same old. It's going to be the Sigma Brawl, Sojourn, Mei, Lucio Baptiste. I think I'm pretty confident in that.
And I would be confident in that too. I mean, both these teams pretty much ran the same comps, and especially Amnesia. I was watching their semifinal against Dapper Dynasty, and they basically played almost the same 5 heroes throughout all 6 maps that they played. They only got off it for one specific map, but they eventually went back into it on the second round of that map. So yeah, it's going to be the Soldier, the Mei, the Sig, the Bap, and the Lucio. That is what I really expect to see from both teams here. But again, there's still that chance here that we might see something from the patch here today. Doomfist, you talked about a Winston a little bit, and that is something that Capital, the coach for Amnesia, did kind of talk about, maybe sort of going back to what the comps they were playing at the start of the season, and it would be very interesting to see that. But with the patch just coming out less than 12 hours ago, it'd be really interesting to see one of these teams already have a good plan on how to execute this patch.
Yeah, I like you're saying, I don't expect anything super drastic, but I do think it would be a nice little trump card to have in your back pocket to, have that Winston dive. We've seen it a lot this year, especially early in the Overwatch League season, contenders, all that kind of stuff. The Winston Tracer Sombra was pretty strong, and I mean, with EMP getting buffed the way it was, it kind of felt like a splash of water before, but now that 3-second lockout, I mean, it could be a good trump card if you're losing in the Sigma duel. You could bring that out and say, hey, adapt. We're gonna adapt, so we're gonna force you to adapt. And the mind games, they have to be there because we talked about it before. These two teams, they are very, very strong rivals. As we're gonna get in here to Nepal, these teams have. Or MI7 has a lot of history with the organization. And I mean, MI7, they want to bring this out here for the first time in 3 straight grand finals. They want their revenge. And what we're going to see here is, kind of what we expected. I think Matson is going to go over to the Sojourn. But the Pharah could be an interesting shout here.
And both teams showing that Pharah at the moment. No Mercy Pocket with them here. I think they're just kind of teasing us at the moment, each side. But now you're starting to see kind of what I really expected. Laura coming out on the Bastion here would be incredibly interesting to me, but no, it's going to be the Sim, then back over to that Soldier, like we kind of talked about. And these have been what the two teams have really been running here, and it really all comes down to who gets the most pressure out here. But you already see a little bit of a mistake coming out here from Amnesia early. MI7 going to have that high ground pressure.
Yeah, MI7 already in position, pushing Amnesia back. Dawes so low, getting frozen out by the Ice Beam of Tanic B, and Laura is going to clean that up as well as knocked. And just like that, MI7 are going to push Amnesia back and capture this first point on Village.
You lose your tank, you lose the fight. That is the case a lot of the time here, especially at the Masters level. They know when the back out fights, not stagger out anyone there. Yeah, knock fell, but you saw the rest of Amnesia fall back there. A great play from them there, not to build up those ultimates from MI7 here. But now Amnesia has to re-engage in this. They're going to try to go high ground. The ice wall coming out, though, from Tanic B.
And Brian, getting rocked early by Gliscor. Gonna go down early. Laura, once again, coming alive early in this fight. Gonna take down the Mei, and Amnesia, they say, yeah, we lost our Mei. Our Mei is so important. We're going to back out. They're actually going to rotate here. They're going to rotate down to the low ground, and Dawes is going to be able to take down Lore. So, I mean, it's a 1-for-1 trade here. MI7 versus Amnesia. It's 4 versus 4 here in this fight. Dawes does not have that grasp, and I mean, both Amp Matrices are going to come out, and there's going to be a May trade. Madsen for Flames of Ra, both Mays getting 1 pick each. The Ice Wall going to come out. The Flux for Gliscor as well. Who's going to find? It's going to find Dawes and Brian squished to a pulp. Dawes takes a lot of damage, receives a rock to the face, but Rocket and Noct cleaning up Laura and Gliscor. It's just a stall for Grizzly. No beat here for MI7. Very smart, 60%. Amnesia takes over.
And a good fight there for Amnesia. You saw both the Amateurs come out there from both Baptistes, and that's normally a play you will see a lot here, especially on point. But normally it is whoever responds with their Amateurs is going to be the team winning there, and that's the exact case that happened there with Amnesia rocking using it last year. You see the ultimates though right now. Amnesia looking very good. They have their overclock, they have their flux, but you're seeing the Blizzard come out here from Tannic.
I mean, Tannic, what an early play by the May. Forcing Noct into the corner with the Blizzard and make that 2 for Tannic B. And I mean, the Blizzard didn't freeze anybody, but it controlled so much space and pushed Amnesia back. And they're just gonna, they're gonna be happy to stagger out Dawes here. This is going to be, that is just a horrific stagger for Amnesia.
Oh yeah, absolutely, and also considering Dawes used their Flux in that fight and basically found nothing with it. Tannic B's Blizzard was the only thing MI7 needed to do there to win that fight, and they found 2 kills off it immediately. That gave them all the value they needed to just pressure Amnesia out of the point, and honestly, the icing on the cake there was staggering out Dawes. Look at what this happened. Look at what this does here. This forces this to be final fight, but you do have ultimates if you're Amnesia, and you're starting with the overclock.
Yeah, wall out from Tannic B early, and overclock from Lore. Gonna put Rocket down early. So much of the healing gone. Need to use the beat to stay alive, but the Blizzard from Brian is colossal. Taking it down Tannic B, and Flames of Ra cleaning up Lore. Amnesia stay alive on Village.
Laura's a hit scan DPS role star for a reason, and they are showing why there. But Brian, really the star of the show, that fight with that Blizzard, able to get their team that point with a huge one there. Now Amnesia, you cannot lose another fight here. There's really no ultimate ready for either side. Both Baptiste will be able to build up to their Matrix, but I'm watching for Gliscor and their Flux. That could be something they get very early on in this fight, and it could be deadly for them.
My God, Tannic B is electric with the ice walls right now. Dawes has to escape, will take down Grizzly. So it is a 1-for-1 trade, and I mean, that'll be 2 for Dawes, but is it going to be enough? Dawes goes down, and the Flux comes out, Noct goes up, frozen, down, dead. That will be, I think that might just be it for Amnesia here on Village. The overtime wake burns down, Brian goes down, MI7 take Village.
And honestly, so far, the star of this map for me has been the DPS line for MI7. Laura and buying time here for 1 second, I forgot the name already, and Tannic B have just been on fire. Laura, especially at the start of that map, found consistent picks at the start of fights. The railgun has been huge for them. Tannic B, and you talked about their ice walls have just been great for them. Amnesia, they've been able to respond sometimes here, but they're very late in fights to the point where they're not getting the value they really need out of their DPS line at the moment. MI7, though, looking great. Amnesia, they need to step up a little bit here. They didn't look bad, but this play right here from Lore, you have to know where they are at all points because they have been a great person for MI7 to find early picks.
Yeah, and I mean, Amnesia, like you said, they've had moments, but moments, I've always said it, moments don't win championships. I mean, they need to pick it up here as we get into Shrine. Dawes early on the Wrecking Ball now going to take down Grizzly. They are on the Tracer Sombra dive. Not exactly on the variation that I expected it to be, but, still rocking out on this dive. And I mean, MI7 is down 1, but they are still well in this fight right now. Rocket, sitting a little bit hurt, but not too scared just yet. Slam gonna come through onto Flames of Ra, gonna have to use that Immortality Field. Stays alive here. Madsen has to use the Translocator. Gets out alive. I mean, nobody has gone down for a while, and then, there's Dawes. As soon as, of course, I say it, Dawes going to explode. MI7, they take over here on Shrine. Amnesia, they have to back up.
And we talked about seeing this. I didn't expect to see it in the first map, but Amnesia going to a dive comp now again. And both Sombra and Tracer were buffed a little bit. Tracer got their damage buff from 5.5 to 6 damage per shot. And you talked about it, Madsen, that Sombra, the hack now lasts 3 seconds rather than 1.5. They need to be able to find some value off his dolls, though. Has been doing good on the ball so far. You see him already at 80% to their minefield.
Here we go, Brian trying to find something, but no openings given by MI7. Here is the window and the pulse bomb wide right for Brian. Noct goes down to the rock from Gliscor, and I mean, Amnesia are not looking good in this fight. Gonna have to get out here one more time. They've got a couple more chances though.
Yeah, they got a couple more chances, and they're coming up on 3 ultimates right now. The biggest one, in my opinion, being Madsen's EMP, and they're gonna use it right now and hit 4.
4 for the EMP, that 3-second lockout on the EMP, so important now. Tanic drops the Blizzard, but it's more of a zoning tool than anything. Dawes receives a rock to the mech by Gliscor, and not quite able to get the hack off as the window comes out from Rocket. So does the minefield from Dawes. Can they find the flip here? Noct is finally able to take down Laura as Grizzly. Uses that sound barrier to try and keep this point rolling. They're at 80% and counting. As Tanic goes down, this fight should be in the hands of Amnesia, but, you know, almost 90%. MI7 only needs one more.
Yeah, but Amnesia will be able to take the point here. They are holding on to a rally, which Noct got pretty fast after swapping off that Zenyatta there. And MI7, they did use some ultimates there, but now you're seeing them make some swaps as well. Tanic getting off of the Mei. They're going over to the Sombra of their own here. And in my opinion, a great pick here for them. They want to try to counter out Dawes a little bit here. If they shut them down fast, they will get that ball out early. And that's been kind of a big problem here for MI7. We've seen Dawes just kind of roll through, pile drive down, and be able to get out. They've only died once so far, but now Amnesia needs to try to survive this attack here from MI7.
We are back in immediately for MI7. Pulse bomb to the ground, no picks found. Brian has to use the recall. Dawes hacked up very, very low, has to play super safe, especially in the face of the overclock, but Noct with the rally. Shield bashes right into Laura's face, takes down the Sojourn, and I mean, what a pick there, as the hack doesn't really come through for Madsen, but it doesn't even matter. 51% and counting for Amnesia. They've come alive.
They have come alive at the right point as well. I mean, you see some swaps coming out there from Tanic going over to the Sombra. I thought that would be a big thing in shutting down Dawes, but no, Dawes really never found that problem there. And honestly, Noct made a huge play there, using that rally to get rid of Laura, who popped their overclock. We talked about Laura a lot that last point, able to find a lot of early picks. Noct shut them down pretty fast. But now, look at Amnesia. 4 of them about to have their ultimates ready to go. They are in a very good spot here to win this point.
MI7 building up pretty close to a few of their own, but Amnesia, they have an opportunity to get in here early, and the EMP comes out, and Tanic explodes. Laura burned down by the virus of Madsen, and that EMP may very well be what puts Amnesia in contention for Nepal. The minefield comes out, pulse bomb as well, flames of Ra going down. This is not looking good for MI7. And with Gliscor and Laura going down, that EMP very well will not be enough for MI7 to bring this back. Amnesia evens up Nepal. It will be decided on Sanctum.
Yeah, and honestly, again, we saw some swaps come out from MI7. Tanic looked good on those Sombra. He came out on this full dive comp. What we kind of, didn't expect to see, but if we were going to see, this is kind of what I thought we would see from Amnesia. Madsen and Brian did a lot there. While Brian never really found a pick with their pulse bomb, it was about pressuring out MI7, getting some utility out as well. We saw when they threw that pulse bomb down, they immediately got the immortality field out of there from perfection there. But one thing I want to mention here, Noct getting off the Zenyatta, going over to this Brigitte was a great swap for them. They weren't finding really choice here, but look what Amnesia's doing now. Madsen coming out on the Ashe instead, and Brian going back over to the Tracer here.
A little more pokey of a dive for Amnesia. MI7 still very confident in their Sigma composition. And you know what? For good reason. Noct goes down. Rocket follows. shortly. Amnesia, they have to fall back here. Dawes still trying to roll through, trying to find some damage, trying to build up this ultimate. But with Dawes going down, Amnesia has no hope in this fight. MI7, they take the first fight and flip here on Sanctum.
Yeah, and Tanakby going over to the Mei here, I really do like this pick from them. I said they look good on the Sombra, but I think the Mei brings their team a lot more value here. But again, Amnesia's going to have to figure out some way to get in. The Ice Walls from Tanakby will really slow them down, and Glysaur with that accretion will be able to kind of stop Dawes from just rolling through their team right now. But looks like they're going to take the side door and maybe just go straight to point.
Pressure on the point right now is Brian, and Flames of Raw goes down. Maybe MI7 getting a little too aggressive. Well, as I say that, they make it a 2-for-2 trade, and Brian is here, and Lore puts Brian down. And despite the picks coming through for Amnesia, they denied 10% of the point. And I mean, Lore is super low, but Amnesia, they just got to get out here.
Yeah, Lore's still low, finally getting healed up there by Flames overall, but now you're seeing Matson get off of that Ashe, going over to the Sombra instead. I like this a lot better for them here. They need to be able to try to shut down someone, whether it be Tanakby or whether it be Glysaur right now, but you're going to see MI7 just continue to be aggressive.
Oh goodness, they're able to turn quickly on Matson, and has to get out with that translocator, and Grizzly goes down early. The Gravitic Flux comes out, it hits Dawes. I don't see who else. It hits Matson, but Brian is able to take it down Lore. And so, despite Brian going down, this fight is going to be, technically in the favor of Amnesia. The Blizzard comes out, nobody's frozen up. Rocket with a couple of picks here. They're going to be able to clean up Glysaur. Grizzly cannot contest anymore. The flip comes over 27% and counting now for Amnesia.
I was going to say Tanakby was probably going to regret using that Blizzard there, but no, they make the swap over to the Torbjorn now, so they want to get that out as fast as they could. Maybe it would flip the fight there, and they would stay on the Mei, but no, they just use it to get rid of it there because they had it. But now you look at Amnesia, this is kind of the same thing that they had last point. They're running into a lot of ultimates right now, while MI7, they have 3 about to be ready here, but they're going to have to survive through a couple. Oh my goodness.
Goodness, Lore! Ripping the head off of Brian. The trade comes through. Noct is in the back line. He doesn't care about your overclock. Does end up going down. The pick came through from Noct and the rally, but oh my goodness, what a spy check from Lore. And despite those rally picks coming from Noct, Amnesia cannot hold on. MI7, they take over again.
Yeah, but if you're both teams here, that was a pretty heavily invested ult fight. You're seeing Grizzly now go over to this Brigitte as well. They're realizing this might be the better pick at the moment for them here. Both teams running that Brigitte now. I think that's the right play for them. But Amnesia coming up on an EMP while MI7 is really close to nothing. This could be a pretty quick fight retake and point retake here for Amnesia if Matson's able to find 3 or 4 with the EMP.
Go 95% and counting for that EMP. Gonna use the translocator to get out. Happy to take this hacked Mega, and Matson getting a little bit aggressive here. The EMP comes out, it hits Flames of Raw, and Glysaur, that 3-second lockout, showing its ugly head. Cannot get the immortality field out, and Dawes sends Tanakby flying right off the map. And, Dawes getting really, really low here, but they cannot clean that Wrecking Ball up. Some great plays by Amnesia. They take over. They only need a 1.5 or 2 fights here to take this point. MI7 just as close.
MI7, they're coming up with a Molten Core and a Flux that could be ready this fight. Dawes and their minefields, they really haven't found a lot of values the last couple times they use them, but they need to use them here just to buy them some time. They're seeing where everyone at MI7 is going, and now Dawes is going to be able to power drive and use those mines.
Goodness, the minefield is colossal for Dawes, and that might very well do it. They're going to have to switch to the desperation swaps here for MI7. 90% and counting. Lore over to the Sombra. I don't think that they can do it. 5 seconds remaining. The Sombra is there. 98%. The translocator's there. Is going to be able to get the touch from Lore, but Brian cleans it up. Tanakby goes down, and Amnesia, despite losing the first map, they're going to clean up Nepal. Flux comes out from Glysaur, but it's so late. Glysaur goes down before the Flux can, and Amnesia making a statement here on map number 1.
and give Rocket a lot of credit there. They used an Amp Matrix, as you saw that Molten Core come out there from Tanakby. The Amp Matrix was mostly used to keep their Brigitte alive because they were stuck in the middle of that Molten Core. That one pick, that if we see that one pick swap there and it's actually Tanakby finding the Brigitte there on point for Amnesia, we might be seeing a different stat line here. It might be MI7 winning this first map, but no, this was a really great map for Amnesia in my opinion. They struggled a little bit on that first point, and honestly, when I was talking to their coach, they thought when they were playing in the mirror, they would have the upper hand, but kind of what we learned from that first point of Village, they don't really have that upper hand where they're playing the mirror. MI7's lore was just able to make such a big difference on the Sojourn compared to what Amnesia's Sojourn was able to do. When they made those swaps, that's when it all started to really change for Amnesia there on that first map.
Yeah, I mean, Tracer and Sombra, they haven't been the go-to recently, right? But I do really think that these buffs that both of those heroes got, you know, the Sombra still, it's mostly the same when you're in the neutral fight, but I mean, I said it to you before the match started. EMP for the while since Sombra got reworked, it's just felt like a cold splash of water, dealt a little bit of damage, hack lock out, you know, the second and a half. But I mean, the buff that EMP got, we saw it there. I mean, the buff to 3 seconds is really what Sombra needed to become viable once again. And I mean, Mattson just looked electric on the Sombra. And then, you know, everybody from Amnesia, they were ready. And, you know, I was saying it, the dive couldn't be a really, really strong, you know, gotcha. And right there, look at that EMP. So big from Mattson, and Brian on the Tracer putting so much pressure on the backline. Even when they weren't hitting the pulse bombs, it didn't even matter. It forced the positioning of both Grizzly and Frames of Raw constantly. And because of that, they couldn't play the way they wanted to, so Amnesia took advantage.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, that first map I talked about, Village did not really look good for Amnesia. They made the swap to the dive comp here, and I really don't think MI7 was truly expecting it. We saw him make swaps here. Tanakby was probably the one that made the most swaps. They go from the Mei to the Sombra. I believe we saw him play Tracer, and we see them right here playing the Torb. I mean, the Torb, yeah, they got that Molten Core towards the end of the map, but I don't really think it found a lot of value that they were looking for, and it might have kind of hurt MI7 there on Nepal. But I mean, let's look at the grand scheme of everything here. MI7 throughout the entire playoffs, 11 maps up, 11 maps down. That's their first loss in the entirety of their playoff run here. I feel like as we head into our second map, we're going to see a little bit of a different MI7, one that's probably not happy.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the way you got to play. You can't let your emotions get to you, though, right? Like, you haven't dropped a map, and now you have, right? But that's all it has to be. If you want to win this championship and get your revenge, that is what it has to be. It's just one map. You're only down one. You can't let that get to you. You have to keep your mental strong. And it looks like we do have our map selection. It will be Midtown. I think that we're still going to be seeing the Sigma composition out from MI7. And I would not be surprised if Amnesia picks up where they left off on the Wrecking Ball dive.
I would not be surprised by that either, but I feel like we're going to see him kind of go back to that Sigma comp again a little bit here, and at least at the start. It looks like they'll be defending first, while MI7 will be attacking. So I don't think the dive on defense is necessarily the right play, but hey, I've been proven wrong several times before. These players are honestly a lot better than I am, a lot more highly ranked. I mean, they might come out with that dive because it's been working for them, and that's exactly what they're going to do here. I mean, MI7 needs to prove that they can beat this dive comp that Amnesia is running here. Mattson and Brian have been able to just cause a lot of havoc. Dawes as well. I mean, Dawes, I feel like has only died 2 or 3 times since swapping over to the ball. It's worked out great for them. MI7 needs to figure out some way how to slow him down. We did see Tanakby go over to the Sombra for a little bit, and I thought that was going to be to try to help shut Dawes down, but I don't think it really did. So again, the accretion, the ice wall here from those 2 players on MI7, they need to be able to slow Dawes down and get them out of the fight early. Because if they take care of that ball, there's not a lot of follow-up that both those DPS can really do for Amnesia here. But the gates are about to open here, Fletch.
Yeah, I mean, let's get into it. Does MI7 have what it takes you know, to take this momentum back? We will see as we get into Midtown New York City. Here we come. It's going to be the left side and a rock immediately right into the face of Dawes. HP here, and you know, taking so much damage. The shield from Noct not going to be enough to keep the brig alive, and Lore opening it up with 2, and down goes Dawes, and I think down goes point A for Amnesia.
And who else but Laura? I mean, we talked about them at the start of Nepal. They always found the early picks that really helped their team out, and they do it here again. I mean, that's why they're an all-star. That's why they're one of the best players in this Transcendence tier at the moment. They're a role star. I mean, that is why. I mean, if you're Amnesia, you did a good job shutting Laura down on those final 2 points, but they're still able to pop up every now and then. You have to do that again here now. And already, MI7 getting to this push phase, over 5.5 minutes to get going here. I mean, they have a lot of time to play with, but Amnesia gonna try to hold on to this high ground here. Mattson gonna be able to escape barely.
Yeah, just trying to find a little bit more of that bolt charge. Didn't get much out of that, but you know, was in a safe position, able to get out with their life. The cart progresses underneath the bridge, so a lot of early progress here for MI7. Only 45 seconds into point B. Here we go, Dawes on the engage, and Rocket gonna be able to take it down. Grizzly, and everyone's so low in that staircase for MI7. Immortality Field has to come out for Rocket, and Rocket will get out alive. Brian cleaning up Lore, Tanic B, and Flames of Raw, and you know, Amnesia. Brian with 4 kills in the fight. They find their footing here.
Brian with 4, but I really don't feel like you need to use that pulse bomb there if you were them. I mean, you had killed everyone else there for MI7. Yeah, you wanted to make sure Glysaur was sent back to the spawn a little bit faster, but I don't think you need to use it there, especially with all the other ultimates you have coming up here. But honestly, I love that play from Amnesia, allowing MI7 to push the card up that far. It means they have a long walk to get back to them, and you have to go through Dawes and Mattson to get back to your card at the moment.
Here we go. It's a rotation up to the high ground for MI7, and oh my goodness. Oh my goodness! Dawes slams, 2 go down to the minefield, and knocked in Mattson. They're going to clean up the rest. Dawes, you know, wanted to kill Laura with the guns, but Laura was more than happy to walk right back into the minefield. I mean, what a fight.
And like I said, if you are Amnesia, you were perfectly fine with what you let MI7 do their first push there, because you had to walk through Dawes. You had to walk through Mattson and Brian. Dawes use that minefield there. That was all that Amnesia needed to use in that fight. They're coming up on 3 other ultimates at the moment, while MI7, they're about to have their whole squad ready with those ultimates. I'd be watching out for the Blizzard first, or the Ant Magics from Flames of Raw, just to try to force Amnesia off this high ground.
Back up on the rotation for MI7. EMP out, hits 4 players, and I mean, Amnesia, I mean, it didn't hit Glysaur, but the neutral hack did. So, I mean, it just doesn't matter. They do use 3 ultimates there, though, but an incredible EMP from Mattson keeps the momentum in Amnesia's favor.
Yeah, and Amnesia probably would like to have some of those ultimates back. That EMP really did everything it needed to do there, and then the manual hack on the Glysaur got rid of the Flux. MI7, you only use the Flux and that Ant Matrix. You're coming up on the Overclock, the Blizzard, and the Beat. Those Overclock and the Blizzard, we've seen Laura absolutely pop off before, and the Blizzards that Tanic B had on the first point were incredible for their team. They're trying to force Amnesia to play down into this little valley right now, so that you could see probably Tanic B use that Blizzard to trap a couple members of Amnesia.
Amnesia not taking the bait right now. The rotation out from MI7 going back to the high ground, and they're able to take down Mattson. Lore goes for 2 here. Lore for 2. Brian knocked go down the overclock. Good to keep the cart rolling for MI7. They will get another touch for Amnesia, though.
Yeah, Amnesia will get another touch here. You see Mattson kind of running around. Brian will be able to get there. Dolls will probably be able to get back there. The hack coming on here. The Flames are all. Amnesia, though, coming up on a lot of ultimates that they can play with into this fight. Watch out for the Pulse Ball already coming out, and now the Minefield.
Here we go. Minefield out. Beat in response from Grizzly. Glysaur up close and personal with MI7, but Mattson is going to be the first one to strike. Tanic B goes down, and I mean, everybody is looking, well, at least Glysaur is looking very, very low. The hack comes through, Glysaur goes down, and Amnesia, they hold the line on the defense. Flames of Raw, Grizzly, Lore, they're all headed right back to spawn.
And again, if you're Amnesia, you're really happy with this. MI7 has a long walk back here, still 90 seconds on the clock, so a lot of time for them to get something going here. But you're seeing some swaps come out from them now. Grizzly going over to the Brigida. Lore making the swap to the Reaper, which is a very interesting one. Haven't seen it so far tonight. I don't think we've seen a lot through the playoffs here. They want to try to shut down the ball. They want to try to get Mattson out of that invisibility mode here. But you look at Amnesia, they have an Ant Magic. They're going to use it right now.
Matrix out in response. The Flux from Gliscor, not going to need to use the Immortality Field, which is an incredible, discipline there from the side of Rocket. The M Matrix does not find a target, and Dawes rocked and taken down by MI7. Knocked falls down in a massive EMP from Madsen, but it's too little, too late. The EMP hits 4, but the capture comes through for MI7.
Yeah, Madsen uses the EMP there. I honestly am kind of surprised to still see him stick on the Sombra. I thought they were using it in a losing fight. We might see him swap, but no, they're staying on it here. I think these swaps from MI7 are really the right play for them, but it really all started that fight with Gliscor, finding Dawes without a creation, getting them rid of them very early on in the fight, because again, Dawes has been a big problem for MI7. They're able to roll around and do so much on the ball.
Here we go, Madsen in the back line trying to take down Grizzly, but not able to do that just yet. Right now, Bryant taking a couple of those Hyper Spears, getting pretty low and has to escape with their life. The rock right into the shield of Noct, who has a rally. Grizzly building up to one of their own, but Noct goes down early, and well, both rigs do. Dawes has 70 HP, and Tanic B is happy to put the rat out of their misery. Pulse Bomb going to find Tanic B's turret, but no people, as the push continues to roll here for MI7.
But look at the ultimates right now. Dawes can use that minefield on card to try to slow down MI7, but MI7 has a couple of their own. They're using the rally already.
Here we go, minefield out, Death Blossom gonna find Brian, gonna find Rocket. The fight is not over yet, despite Tanic B going down. MI7 is still handily in this fight. The rally out from Noct, not able to find the value with the armor, with the shield bash. Brian falling late. The Gravitic Flux picks Dawes up, and Dawes goes down in 3 on the cart for MI7. That will do it. 26 seconds on the clock for MI7. What an attack!
What an attack indeed, and I honestly got to give MI7 a lot of credit. I talked about it a lot there. Those swaps, the Reaper and the Brigida, worked out great at just being able to apply a lot of pressure, and we saw the double kill there from that Death Blossom from Lore to really open everything up there in that final fight. It made Amnesia stagger back out to the card, just try to slow it down a little bit. The minefield and the rally there from Dawes and Noct was not able to find the value they were looking for there to keep themselves alive in that point here. But again, MI7, they started out really, really fast here on this first point, winning it in one fight, but then Amnesia, they stayed calm, played it smartly, and slowed down MI7 a lot here on the second point. Yeah, they eventually got, because of a couple nice plays here from Gliscor, Lore, and Grizzly after those swaps came out, to really get that second point. And then they kind of just casually walked through the third point. Yeah, Amnesia slowed them down a little bit, but it seemed like Amnesia was struggling to try to get them to slow down there.
Yeah, I mean, they had all the answers, right? Amnesia, they looked so good on this Wrecking Ball dive on Nepal. And, I said, I wouldn't be surprised to see them come out on it again. And we're going to see the same thing on their attack, but with this time, they still are in the attack spawn. Rocket is hovering the Zenyatta, so I'm interested to see if they do come out on this. But MI7, they're going to come out back on what was working for them at the end of their attack. The Reaper, Torbjorn, gonna try and keep those flankers in check. And yeah, we're gonna see the Zen come out for Rocket, maybe. Yeah. At
the moment, you have to remember, they did play the Zen a little bit on Nepal, but it was Noct who was playing the Zen. They immediately got off it after 1 or 2 fights and went over to the Brigida and found a lot more value here. And you're seeing Madsen, they're getting that info, going back, and you're seeing them just make some swaps here. And I really like this. They're going back to this Sigma comp, one they pretty much ran throughout their entirety of their semi-final match, and one that I think will actually kind of play well into what MI7 is playing here.
Yeah, the Reaper Torbjorn built to take care of the Wrecking Ball, the Tracer, the Sombra. Now in response for Amnesia, the meta. They're coming out on this Sojourn May now. Rock comes out, hits Dawes or hits Gliscor rather. One of those Sigmas went down, and Tanic is able to take down Madsen early in this defense, and Dawes is not going, maybe? Are they going to be able to take down Dawes? They will be able to take down Dawes. Dawes goes down, and MI7, they're happy with what they've got. They're not going to press the issue anymore.
Yeah, and honestly, getting rid of Mattson early there was a huge play there for MI7 because that got rid of a lot of pressure that comes out from that railgun being able to one-shot you if you are low, and the disrupting shot as well. And Amnesia did a good job trying to keep themselves in it, but after you lost one there, you probably should have backed out because now you just built up ultimates here for MI7 because look at it. They're about to have an Amnesia and the Flux online for Glystar, and look who's using it.
Yeah, Mattson able to take down Grizzly early. The Flux hits a couple. Immortality Field is going to be good for Flames of Raw as they're going to go into this fight down one. They're going to use the Amp Matrix in response, and Mattson turns around. The peel for Rocket is incredible. Mattson with a second takes down the turret, and I mean Glyscore all alone. Grizzly returns late, and you know, they're trying to keep this going, but finally Amnesia, they are going to find their footing here on A. The capture's gonna come through.
And we talked about Laura being an all-star, being the role star for the hit scan DPS. Mattson was also an all-star here for the Transcendence tier. So they can also play these characters good, and I honestly am not surprised. They popped off there, really helped their team, kept Rocket alive when they were pressured out there by Tanakby, who now goes back over to the Mei here to try to slow him down. So it's a mirror match again here. And honestly, I would not be surprised here if once Amnesia kind of sees this after a fight, if they lose, if they immediately make the swaps to go back to that ball comp, and we might just be seeing this thing where it's just kind of counter swapping to see who can come out on top here. But at the moment, Amnesia has 3 ultimates that I expect them to use this fight.
Ice block early from Brian is going to freeze up Glyscore. Glyscore gonna go down. The peel was great, but just not enough. With Tanakby going down, MI7, they just have to play very, very safe here. They will get out with their lives for the most part here. And Laura in a corner, yeah, gonna be able to survive here. MI7, they can't hold on to the momentum, but they're almost ready to go again.
Yeah, but Amnesia only using that Blizzard in that last fight is huge. They have 3 ultimates ready to go now. Dolls with that, with the Flux, and Rocket with the Amp Matrix might be a combo you see here early.
Immortality Field out early for Rocket, so gonna push Amnesia back a little bit. The cart progress is still coming through. The Gravitic Flux going to be answered from both, and it'll be a trade, but it will be MI7. The Gravitic Flux, great from Glyscore, Lore, and Grizzly, able to clean up on the damage, and the stagger's gonna come through onto Brian, unfortunately for Amnesia. Oh, put them out of their misery, MI7. They're going to hold the line.
But look at what Amnesia's doing here. They're doing exactly what I said. They use the ultimates there, and they're making the swap back to this dive comp. MI7, they made the swaps here to try to slow down Amnesia. Amnesia's coming back with a response of their own here. MI7 coming up on a couple ultimates here. The Beat and the Amp Matrix need to survive them through here. Laura has a great opportunity to end a team fight very quickly here with their overclock if they're able to find Brian and Mattson out early. But now, again, if you're MI7, you have to deal with Dolls on the Wrecking Ball, who in the past has given you a lot of problems.
Here we go. Tanakby has also gone over to the Torbjorn here to try and, respond here. And it will be the touches coming through from Brian to try and put the pressure on the cart. Amnesia right now, they're just going to back out here. Brian is going to play it safe, knows that, Laura has the potential to rip their head off. The beat comes through from Grizzly, as does the Amp Matrix, and not the one shot, but the shot that Laura needed. Brian goes down, knocked, and Mattson follows shortly, and MI7, only a minute and a half left on their defense. They look great.
Yeah, they look great right now, but remember, this is kind of the same thing that Amnesia did to MI7 on their attack here. They played it, they, lost first point pretty fast. Amnesia, they took a little bit longer on their attack here, but again, they're just playing the high ground. That's why I saw Brian go to card to try to get MI7 off the high ground so Amnesia could get on there. Amnesia, though, still a long way away for some ults here, and MI7 still holding on to that overclock, about to have another Flux, and Tanakby gonna be able to build up to a Molten Core here pretty fast. They're coming up on a lot of ultimates that can sustain them through a couple fights.
I worry for Amnesia, who are only up to the window just about, and with Brian going down and 50 seconds on the clock, they just need to play this safe. But, they're going to do just the opposite. Nock is going to get hyper aggro, actually, go down to Glyscore, and, they will have one more chance. And do they know where Mattson is?
It doesn't seem like they do, or they're trying to take a guess where Mattson is at the moment. No, they do. They do, and that's a huge pickoff now because they're going to have to Amnesia's going to have to wait now for Mattson to come back. They're very close to an EMP. Amnesia's close to all their ultimates here, but MI7 has ultimates to stop them from getting back to the cart. Someone's getting the touch. It's going to be Brian or Mattson here, but MI7, I would not be surprised to see Glycer use the flux here early.
So it'll be Dawes and Brian on the cart. What can they do here with only overtime remaining? And Rocket is dead. Brian, Laura once again coming alive with 2 for Laura to clean it up. Dawes solo throws out the minefield, but it just is not enough. Mattson has to use a translocator, but the tracking is immaculate from the turret. MI7 even up the series.
Yeah, and again, this is the reason why MI7 picked Midtown here. They knew that Amnesia would struggle if they wanted to run that ball dive comp. And honestly, they really did. And even with Amnesia's coach being very confident tonight, saying that, hey, when we go mirror match, we might come out, we're always going to come out on top. So far, it's been MI7 that's been able to come out on top of a lot of the mirror match fights here. And that is one thing that's kind of worrying to me about Amnesia. They were very confident in that Sigma comp. They basically played all the way throughout playoffs here. They look very good on this dive comp. But once you go away from a little bit of a dive map and back to something where Sigma can kind of rain down, it really slows down Amnesia there. MI7 picked the perfect map there to even out this series.
Yeah, they looked excellent. Their attack was near perfect with the exception of B. They roll, like you're gonna see here. It took them 30 seconds to capture point A, right? And then they struggled a little bit on B when Amnesia did switch back over to they finally found their footing on the wrecking ball composition. But MI7, they're adapting. They say, we're going to adapt. We're going to force you to adapt. And they did a great job, right? They rolled through A. They rolled through C. And their defense held strong on B. So, going into Flashpoint, which will be Amnesia's map pick, Amnesia, once again, they can't let this, the oppressive defense of MI7 get to them. They have to keep their mental strong going into Flashpoint.
Yeah, and absolutely. And as we head into a map like Flashpoint, one where you want to play fast, it kind of already does lean towards what Amnesia has been showing us. But again, that Sigma comp right now, just because the patch just dropped today, is probably still the go-to comp at the moment. Amnesia is going to have to be able to try to get past that here just to get something going here. But we do know where we are heading for our third map of Flashpoint. Fletch, I don't think it's a shock that we're going to Suravasa.
Wow. Capital W-O-W. Who could have guessed that? Suravasa coming up in map number 3. It's just the map that everybody wants to play, right? New Junk City is not... It's just not great. I'll keep it 100 with you. But Suravasa, yeah, it's a map that everybody has practiced to death since it entered the map pool, and nothing is going to change here. It does fit into that that Sigma comp that MI7 wants to run, but I think even more so it fits what Amnesia wants to do, right? You got to be fast on Flashpoint. That is the name of the game, is speed. That's what Amnesia is playing. That's what they want to do with the Wrecking Ball, right? So the speed that they're playing with that Wrecking Ball dive, I think, it's a great map selection from Amnesia. And between the two, between Suravasa and New Junk City, I do think that Suravasa is definitely not only the better map overall, but the better map for Amnesia.
Yeah, and, I'm just looking back at everything here. When these two teams met up all the way back at week 1, Flashpoint, I don't think it was even in the game yet, or not at least in our map rotations. This is the first time these two teams are going up against each other on this type of map. Yeah, they've had a lot of experience with playing other teams, but against each other might be a little bit different here. We might see something come out here from MI7 that's a little bit different. Like you said, speed is the name of the game on Flashpoint, but also it is all about being able, once you get that point, to hold it, and a composition like what MI7 has been running is a little bit better at holding the point than what Amnesia has necessarily been showing us.
Yeah, I do think that the Sigma composition, no doubt, especially with a Lucio in the rotation, which, that's pretty much bog standard for the Sigma Rush Brawl poke comps that have been, meta recently. I mean, the speed is there for MI7, but I think Amnesia, they're going to rely on this, all around. It's not just the Lucio helping. It's the Sombra, the Tracer. I take back everything I said.
Nope.
Forget
Don't. There's a lot of time left before this map starts.
You're right.
A lot of time to
mean,
end.
There's so much, like... there's the comp already. Come on,
yeah.
man.
And Fletch, the players love to mess with us here a little bit. But again, I'm not necessarily surprised to see Amnesia coming out with this comp here to start. While I don't expect to see the Lifeweaver, yeah, we're not. But I kind of expected them to come out here at least to start with this Sigma comp, because remember, their team is fairly confident that they can win the mirror. So far throughout the series, it has not gone that way, but this is a good map to kind of reset that and be able to say, hey, we are the better mirror when you guys are coming up against us here. And you're going to see the fight be taken here to point. You're looking for both ice walls here to come out here to try to section off some members away. Oh, yeah, it's Laura again!
Started in Laura, opening it up with a great pick on to Dawes, putting it down the Sigma, and okay, just spamming down, able to take down Brian and Rocket on the way out, and just like that, snap of a finger, MI7, they're going to take the first fight and the first flip on Mark.
Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Fool me 3 times, you have to figure out what's going on here. Laura has been able to find the first kill on every map so far this series. And Amnesia, in my opinion, they need to try to shut down Laura at the start of maps if they want to get a good foothold in. Because now you see them, they have to play fast back onto this point, but you cannot allow Laura to get a clean shot because they've been a dead-eye with those railgun shots so far.
Here we go, shield. Okay.
Ooh.
Rock right through the shield of Dawes, by the way. Gliscor's on the low ground. Gonna opt to not flank, but look who it is on the other side. It's the Blue Sojourn, Mattson, coming in with this first pick of the fight. 60% and counting for MI7, but they are struggling in the health department.
Yes, there's a technical difficulty on our side. We imagine the map is still going on here, but it looks like MI7 is actually coming out on top of everything here through all of that. So we missed the last 7 seconds before that right there. MI7 will get the first point cap here. A huge play for them here. And if you're Amnesia, yeah, you're coming up on a lot of ultimates, but my feeling is for them, maybe go back over to that ball comp here. You want to play fast. If you can disrupt a lot of what MI7 wants, you're going to be able to win the fight. You're seeing Glycer already using the flux.
Yeah, Immortality Field is out, but what an ice wall from Tanic B to deny the Immortality Field over Rocket and Amnesia. They are put out of their miseries quick and dirty by MI7 here on the first fight on Palace.
And for the first time tonight, I feel like MI7 actually let everyone in Amnesia die pretty quickly there. You saw knocked last one alive there. Maybe Flames of Raw just accidentally left click there to get rid of them. But they're going to be able to come back here pretty fast because of it. They are coming up on a lot of ultimates besides the beat and the overclock here. And if you're Amnesia, they need to be able to find some value. The Blizzard here from Brian needs to be the biggest play, especially since everyone from MI7 wants to play in the side room right here.
Here we go. Laura in takes down Brian, but the Blizzard is colossal. 3 frozen by Brian, and posthumously Brian is going to help take it down. The rock from Gliscor is great, and I mean, it'll be 2 for 2. Gliscor goes down. Mattson's putting the pressure on the point, and it looks like Amnesia, they're going to take over in the scrappiest fight we've seen.
They're going to take over, but they're going to have to get back to point very quickly. MI7 lost a lot of their members of the fight pretty early, so they're going to be able to get back in time before Amnesia is really able to get back at full force here. But again, only ultimate ready on the board right now for Amnesia. It's that overclock here from Mattson. You look at MI7, they're about to come up on 4. This should be a pretty quick fight retake for them, in my opinion, especially if Laura is the first one to engage with that overclock, because we've seen what they've been able to do in the past with that overclock, and it might be deadly.
Here we go, Blizzard overclock from Laura and Tanic B. Mattson responds. It's 1 for 1, but that one is Dawes, and Laura wants all of the smoke from Mattson, sliding up and ripping the head off of Mattson. And oh my goodness, what a play, putting Knocked in the dirt. That will be MI7 taking back over. 3-4 for Laura.
Laura started off with sliding into the DMs there of Madsen, but that's not direct messages. That is the death message for them. They're a great start off for MI7 there to get everything going. They have the point, 75% and counting right now. They do still have the Amp Matrix. That's the only thing Amnesia has as well, and you're just going to have to play for point. MI7 can play smart here, have that high ground, and be able to just rain damage down upon them.
Flames of Raw throwing out the Amp Matrix early here, so, you know, a lot of this damage raining down from the high ground. Tanic B has to use the Ice Block, you know, gonna stay alive here, going to be just fine. The Rock from Dawes, not gonna be able to find a target. Ice Block from Brian, but Madsen goes down. It'll be a trade though. Madsen for Tanic B, and Rocket is under so much pressure, and the Blizzard is going to come out from Brian, and you know, the shield was almost there, and I mean, this fight, it's so scrappy. Knocked with 2 late in the fight. Knocked with 3. It's a Lucio 1v1 for the point, and Knocked boops Grizzly up in the sky. Who's gonna come out on top? The return of, I think somebody's there. Madsen comes back, takes down Grizzly, but the point goes over to MI7.
And that could have been a fight win there for Amnesia, able to get that point right back there. But honestly, give Grizzly a lot of credit there. They survived long enough to have at least one of their DPS come back to save them and bail them out there. Tanic B, yeah, they had to make the swap there over to the Tracer, but it was the right play for them to get on map point here. And they're already 50% up to a Pulse Bomb here. Another huge play for them. Again, I'm surprised we're not seeing any swaps here from Amnesia. They are coming up on a Flux and a Beat though, but same thing could be said for MI7 minus Lore. They're about to have their overclock ready as well, but looks like MI7 wants to go first.
Okay, so it's going to be Fluxes countered, Beats countered. The Grasp is going to come out early for Dawes and Laurer because, you know, why not Laurer? Going to rip the head off of Dawes once again. And Noct is going to be able to take down Tanic B, but, you know, as this fight continues, it's just Noct left, and, you know, should have just gotten out.
Yeah, and right now, like I said, after the first map where Amnesia won that one, I felt like we were going to see a little bit of a different MI7 team. One that's a little bit angry that they dropped their first map for the entire playoff run. And honestly, I feel like that's what we've been seeing here. They're playing a lot different than what they did on Nepal. They're really stopping Amnesia here a lot. And look at Amnesia at the moment. Really no ultimates ready. MI7 going to have that Amp Matrix ready to go. Lore still has an overclock here, so they could use the overclock this fight and the Amp Matrix next fight and win this map.
Go the wall, gonna cut off Dawes, but not able to get the damage out. Brian very, very low, gonna get healed up here, but Dawes has to use that Grasp to stay alive. Here's the overclock because, you know, Lore been so electric, and, you know, the headshot comes through on a knock 2 for Lore, burned down by the Disruptor shot, and Gleisberg cleans up the last 2, and that will do it for Suravasa. MI7 gonna clean up, take the lead in the series, 2-1 with a 3-0 on Suravasa.
Yeah, and again, you have to go back to that second point there, that Lucio 1v1. If Grizzly dies there early on, you see Amnesia take the point, and my feeling, I don't think they're going to give it up. They're coming into that last fight, or in that next fight there, not having a lot of ultimates, but they had a hope, and I think that's what kind of happened there. They lost that second point there. It was so close for them retaking it, and all MI7 had to do was just play the final flashpoint on point. There was really nothing Amnesia to do to re-engage them on the point, because every time we saw them do that, a nice ice wall came out to just stop them in their place, section off some members from Amnesia away from the rest of their team, and most of the time it was a tank and one of the DPS, and you saw them fall early. But like I said, I thought we would see 2 team fights there. It would be Laura and then the Amp Matrix coming out there, but it's actually just Laura popping off with that overclock again. They have been consistent throughout this entire series, and the only time where they kind of fell off was when Amnesia was shutting them down on Nepal. That was also the only map Amnesia has won so far.
Yeah, and I mean, MI7, they were confident coming into this game. They want their revenge. They want to take their first Grand Finals victory over the last 3. And when we come back from our break, it will be push, and it will once again be Amnesia's map pick. So, you know, stick around. We'll come back and we'll see if MI7 can continue to put the hurt on Amnesia.
tomorrow when we're alright. That's when we forget just who we are. Make us come together and it's alright. That's when you remember who you are. Over there tomorrow when we're alright. That's when we forget just who we are. Make us come together and it's alright. That's when you remember who you are. Remember who you are.
Welcome back, everybody. MI7 made a statement on Suravasa in map number 3. And you see this clip here, you know, it's not from this match, but it's the right map. Map number 4 on push is going to be New Queen Street.
A very interesting map here for Amnesia to be bringing us to. They want, in my opinion, to try to play, I think, the ball comp again, but we could see them come back out on that Sigma comp here. Again, they're still very confident they'll be able to win that mirror match, but so far, the mirror match has been going the way of MI7, and Amnesia has not necessarily looked good in it.
Yeah, I mean, Amnesia, I think that they need to just, you know, rock out with the ball, right? I mean, it's when they've looked their best, and MI7, they are comfortable right now. They feel their flow going through this Sigma composition. I mean, everybody on MI7 is operating at maximum output, and Amnesia, they need to catch up. You know, MI7, we were saying they hadn't dropped a map all postseason, and now against Amnesia, they lost the first one. They're mad. They're on a roll right now, and Amnesia, they have to find a way to answer.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's been something that they need to do here. I mean, they've been able to slow down MI7 a little bit, but MI7 has just been able to kind of say, okay, take these punches and just throw some back at their own and have them be a little bit stronger than what Amnesia was throwing at them here. As we head into New Queen Street, I mean, this map right here is pivotal, in my opinion, for the overall series here. If you're Amnesia, you need to win this map. If you lose it, yeah, there's still at least one more map to be played here, but your backs will be against the wall for throughout the entirety of the series.
Yeah, I mean, in a best of 7, right? You know, it's hard enough to reverse sweep a best of 5, right? But this could go to 7 maps, and to be down 3-1, you need to win 3 maps in a row to bring this back. I mean, it's tough, man. It is so tough. You know, it's with all these maps, the momentum, it just builds. It builds and builds, and it is exponential. And if MI7 finds a way to take New Queen Street here, to move to match point, Amnesia, they're going to be staring at, I mean, just an absolute wall.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've seen a couple teams already this playoff run make that 3-1 comeback and win the series, but at grand finals, everything's a little bit different. The pressure is on you a little bit more, and I feel like the teams, I mean, especially these two teams, MI7 looking for their first championship against a nostalgia or team here. They've had already 2 other tries that have failed. They want to try to have this third time be the charm.
Yeah, and you know what? We see it. Amnesia, you know, they do still have, you know, 10, 15 seconds in spawn, but they're hovering the Wrecking Ball dive that they looked so strong on. And it looks like MI7 is actually prepping for it with Tanic B already on the Torbjorn. So, you know, that's not exactly what you want to see if you are MI7 as they roll out on the Wrecking Ball dive. But you know what? You're just going to have to get through it. You have to get through this as we get into the first fight. Bot unlocks in 12 seconds. Here we go. Fight on the statue. Dawes in that third person trying to get that information. There you see it. Mattson running around the statue here trying to find something. The virus comes out onto Tanic B, but Tanic B stays alive. And Mattson doesn't. A great shot from Laura, and once again opening up the map for the 4th time in a row. Gonna take down Mattson, who, you know what, promptly switches over to the act. But you know what? Amnesia, they don't want to give up just yet. Dawes rolling around, you know, trying to get this information, get the stall. Okay, gonna roll out this time. MI7, they're gonna get this first push going.
Yeah, and just because of that one pick there early, Dawes, I mean, was trying to give as much value as they could here, but again, just
you gotta get out, Dawes.
MI7 has figured out this ball comp that Amnesia wants to run, and is just not allowing them to play it anymore. Amnesia, they need to figure something out here, because I just don't think the ball comp is the way to go anymore.
And you know what? They're gonna say the exact same. They're going to run the Sigma comp once again, and you know, Mattson on the Ash is going to be the only main difference to how they've been running it all series here. So we'll see if that more consistent poke damage is going to be helpful for Amnesia, but Mattson under so much pressure takes a headshot from somebody up there, and well, yeah, I mean, Tanic B, those bolts from the gun of the Torbjorn, they're going to hit butt scratch in just 2 minutes. Brian pushed, taking it down, and MI7 making a statement right now. We are the best team in this tournament, and nobody's going to take that away from us.
Yeah, and Amnesia looks lost at the moment here. They don't seem to be finding any value with anything. You see Mattson go back over to the Soldier now. They need to be able to win this team fight here. They can not allow MI7 to get a large lead very early, but you're already seeing MI7 here invest 2-3 ultimates.
Here's the Flux, and Mattson able to take down Flames of Raw with that disruptor shot. The M Matrix did come out. The bot's still pushing though for MI7, so you know they're gonna lose this fight, but they got an extra 10-15 meters and because Amnesia didn't push up.
Yeah, and Amnesia, I mean, there's still 7 minutes to go in this one here, but MI7, everyone's going to get these forward spawns right now, be able to quickly come back out and contest, and hey, if they win a quick team fight here, they're going to be able to add on to their lead, but again, don't let this man pop off.
Lore has the overclock ready to go. Mattson gonna drop down to the low ground. They're gonna be able to take down Dawes. Amnesia just in a no man's land right now. MI7, I mean, they want this series bad.
Absolutely, and like I said before, Lore is a role star for a reason, showing why again here on New Queen Street. MI7 going to be able to add on to their lead here right now. Amnesia going to have to use a couple ultimates here to probably get something going, but finding Grizzly out early is huge since they were the only one on MI7 that had an ultimate ready to go.
Okay, Noct receives a rock to the back from Glyskor, who is now, in the process of backing up, but, MI7, they got another couple of meters there. Lore, stuck in the back line, and the contest, they're just trying to stall this out. They know they'll get the close spawns. They know they'll be fine. They just want to waste time now.
Yeah, but if you're Amnesia, honestly, the fact that you got through that and still are coming up on 4 ultimates right now, this is your best opportunity to get something going your way here. A Flux, a Blizzard might be the only things you need to use this fight if you are them, but the beat here for Grizzly might be able to sustain MI7 through both of those ultimates.
The engagement onto Glyskor, who receives a rock to the face from Dawes, able to avoid the Blizzard. Tanic B takes down Brian, but Dawes going to squish the opposition into nothingness. Lore once again in the back line, gonna be able to take down Noct, gonna be able to take down Dawes. Mattson's still alive, but MI7, they take this fight. Lore with a third.
They take the fight, and like I said, Grizzly, all they had to use in that fight was the beat. Brian and Dawes both used the Blizzard and the Flux at the same time to try to win that fight there, but the beat was all MI7 needed to go there. And look at it, now MI7, the roles have reversed here. They're coming up on 4 ultimates here. Amnesia, they're holding on to 2, not going to be able to build up to their beat here this time, but Mattson shutting down Lore.
Lore finally receiving one from Mattson. The rest of the overclock gonna just fade away, but that is the pick that you want to see. If you are Mattson, you need to keep Lore in check, but Glyskor answers. Brian goes down, and did Lore get the close spawn? I think Lore might have gotten the close spawn as the Gravitic Flux comes out from Glyskor. They're gonna push Amnesia back. Dawes has to throw out that rock, but Glyskor able to easily sidestep as the Amp Matrix comes out from Rocket. Going to try to push MI7 back, which they will, but you see Tanic B has the Blizzard, will come out, and I mean, that is just the nightmare scenario for Dawes. The Mortality Field keeps Glyskor alive, and I mean, this is just, terrible, terrible news for Amnesia. Lore with 3! Once again, I've lost count of how many 3-kill fights Lore has had in the series.
Yeah, and again, it's just MI7 has been playing everything smart here. They waited for the amateurs to go away there from Amnesia. Tanic B used the Blizzard, got out a huge target of Dawes there pretty early. They were just so close to getting out of that Blizzard, ran them down, and now MI7 engaging with the Amp Matrix here. And who else but Lore to find the first pick?
Yeah, I mean, through the Amp Matrix burns Mattson down so quickly, and MI7, they are looking to put this map away. Beat out from both sides later from Grizzly, and Lore once again. I mean, as soon as Lore came around that corner, I knew Brian was dead, and the rock does hit Tanic B as the Flux comes out. There's not going to be an opportunity to stop Glyskor's Gravitic Flux, and they just keep the barrier pushing 2 meters, 1.5 meters. The ice block comes out from Brian. Mattson is all that is left with Brian there going down. It's just the Doomfist. And you know what? Dawes can't stay alive. MI7, they put the whole scene on notice on New Queen Street. They moved to 3-1. They moved to match point. They want to put this series away.
Yeah, absolutely, and this is a team that looks driven at the moment. Yeah, that one map loss there to start off the series on Nepal is an afterthought to them now. It was a brand new series after that. In their heads, they're 3-0 at the moment. They are looking great, and who else but Lore getting the play of the game here? They have just shown throughout this entire series here tonight. Yeah, everyone on MI7 has looked great, but we've talked about Lore being able to find first picks in a lot of fights, and first picks so far on all 4 maps. I mean, that's an almost insane stat in itself there. You think someone else would get one eventually, but no, it's always Lore. But now, as I said, heading into New Queen Street here, Amnesia, their backs are against the wall. It seems like they are struggling to slow down MI7 here, and they are just running out of ideas and options.
Yeah, I mean, I can't help but agree. MI7 is on a roll right now. I mean, you can see the confidence Tenek B bringing out the Torbjorn hammer at several points there on New Queen Street. And I mean, you got to think that, you know, MI7, they're at match point. Amnesia once again. And, you know, for the last time in this series, they have a map selection going into, it's going to be Escort here. I mean, I think, yeah, we have a map selection, and it's exactly what I thought would happen. It's going to be Watchpoint Gibraltar, where Amnesia, you know, more than likely, they're going to try and bring out this Wrecking Ball once again. And if it's not the Wrecking Ball, it's going to be a dive of some sort.
Honestly, you know, I want to talk about one other character, or one other player right now for MI7. One that I think has just kind of been consistent throughout the night. We're not talking about them a lot, but it's Tenek B. When we saw Amnesia go over to this dive comp here a little bit, they've been coming out on the Torb and kind of shutting them down. And then once they swap off the dive comp, go back over to that Sigma comp, you see them immediately go back to May here. And that's the only swap that is really coming out from MI7. And I feel like they are doing a great job at being able to swap between that Torb and that May, finding a lot of value. And I think that Blizzard kill there towards the end of New Queen Street was huge for them. Got Dolls out of the fight early, and you kind of just saw it after that. Amnesia was never really able to get anything going back after that. Eventually, MI7 completed that map there with a lot of time in the time bank. But Fletch, like you said, we're going to our next map and potentially final map of the series. And Amnesia has decided to bring us to Watchpoint Gibraltar.
Yeah, and you know, I said it at the beginning of the match, right? If you're gonna run, you know, a gotcha play, right, the dive. You know, once you get later in the series, there's not a whole lot that you can reliably do. You know, early Suravasa, you know, I thought that the Wrecking Ball would come out on Suravasa. I really, really did. I was surprised that they stayed on the Sigma. And then New Queen Street, you know, the Wrecking Ball, it didn't work at all. They tried that. But on Watchpoint Gibraltar, it is quintessential, the dive map, right? So, I mean, if you're going to see Amnesia, you know, try and make a comeback to keep themselves in this series, I think that this is where they're going to do it, right? I mean, they looked so good on the Wrecking Ball on Nepal. And, I mean, they need to reclaim that form that they had on Nepal, or their season is as good as done.
Yeah, and honestly, I mean, Nepal, the dive looked great. I feel like, I said it before, MI7 didn't really know how to stop it there. I feel like there was a lot of momentum on Amnesia's side. But you can see, as we've gone on in the series, Midtown, Amnesia did bring out the ball comp, or the dive comp there, to try to defend. And it was a one-fight quick thing over there, and then it went to a mirror match the entire rest of the way. On their attack on Midtown, they did bring out the ball comp again, but eventually, I just don't think it ended up working for them. They tried to make a swap, didn't have enough time. Suravasa, we saw what that was. It was a very one-sided affair. And same thing almost there for New Queen Street. I mean, Amnesia was never really able to get anything going. But going to Watchpoint Gibraltar, like you said, when we talk about brawl map, or when we talk about dive maps, we talk about Watchpoint Gibraltar. Same, kind of in the same vein of when we talk about a rush or a brawl map, we talk about King's Row. This is the map that Amnesia needs here desperately. Not only because, one, if they lose, it's the end of their season, but they just need to build some confidence back up. They need to be able to win this one here, because like I said, they lose, MI7 are your champions here. This is a pivotal map. Like I said, New Queen Street was, but we need to see something here from Amnesia, and honestly, we need to see it first. I believe they will be attacking first. We need to see something. We need to see them come out fast. We need to see them win 1-2 fights in a row, in my opinion, to get themselves going and to build that confidence back up.
All right, well, we got into the map. Looks like we're probably going to be headed right back out of the map. Oh, hi guys. I sorry to you know, to bait y'all, but yeah, I can't help but agree, right? I think that this is what Amnesia needs. they need to be comfortable. And, you know, they said that they had confidence in the Sigma. They haven't shown the ability to keep up with MI7 on the Sigma, unfortunately. So I like, if it's not the Wrecking Ball, I really do expect like a Winston, a Diva, I guess Doomfist could even work here. I expect it to be the Wrecking Ball coming out from Amnesia here. But what I'm curious about, what do we see from MI7? Do we see the Winston? Because we haven't seen any other looks, really, other than the DPS flexibility onto the Reaper Torbjorn. As we're going to get in the map, we will get our answers pretty soon. It'll be the Winston, and it'll be the Diva from MI7 on the defense. So they're going for MI7. They're going for a more peely composition on the Diva. You know, trying to keep Flames of Ra and Grizzly and Lore too, for that matter, from being dove by Dawes, by, you know, Brian probably going to switch over to the Tracer after the TP. Mattson going to try and keep Lore in check once again in the Ash Mirror. So, oh no, it'll be the Tracer for Mattson here, and Brian probably going to go over to the Genji. Okay.
And here's what I have to say. This first point here, this first push, it is big for Amnesia here. If it takes them a while to get to that first point, I feel like it's going to be very difficult for them when they swap over to defense here. You do see the TP onto that other side there. But now, Dawes dives up there, gets a little bit of a lay of the land there, notices Tanic be on to the Torp here, and they're finally seeing Glysaur come out here on the Diva. So now, I mean, they might be kind of rethinking what they want to do here, seeing that MI7 is not showing us what they've been showing us all series.
Yeah, and as the dive comes through, it will be Lore able to stay alive here. Dawes so low. And with Rocket going down, I mean, right now, Amnesia, they're getting the cart progress, but this is kind of the obligatory cart progress here. You get it under the bridge, you back up.
Yeah, it's what we always see here on Watchpoint Gibraltar. The teams let them push it all the way up to the other side of that valley, and then they immediately dive on them and send them back to the spawn here. If you're Amnesia, though, again, you need to be able to win a fight here early. You lost that fight pretty early in the last engagement. You need to be able to find someone out. Lore, though, on this Ashe is a huge player for them at the moment. They can easily take care of someone like Mattson, but Dawes getting taken out by Tanic again.
I mean, yeah, Winston received these buffs, right? That you know, armor doesn't it doesn't negate the damage from the Winston Zappy anymore, right? But you know, Diva still does a lot of damage, as does Torbjorn and Ashe. I mean, right now Dawes is, you know, trying to engage, but when Dawes engages, they explode. So I mean, as we continue, I mean, it's going to be big. I mean, what an anti there on the Grizzly. That was, you know, a great play by Rocket there, and a great pick. And, you know, Tanic B all alone over there in no man's land. The Immortality Field not able to keep Torbjorn alive. Amnesia, they finally find their footing here on the attack 2 minutes ago.
Yeah, those are big picks there for Amnesia, especially since Grizzly's still kind of lagging behind with ult charge here, but Flames of Ra has that mix ready to go here. If you're Amnesia, you need to be able to find someone out early again, like Grizzly, like Lore. Don't allow them to use their ultimates with Glysaur. Having the bomb ready to go, I imagine we'll see it used as a remake.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so here's the Primal Rage. It does keep... The peel is incredible, by the way, for Lore. I mean, a great job keeping the Ashe player alive. The bomb is going to come out. It doesn't find a target. Unfortunately for Glysaur, does get the remech off. So, you know, that is a good sign for them. But Dawes in no man's land, you know, gets clotheslined by Tanic B. Gonna go down. 1:20 on the attack here for Amnesia. They have struggled thus far.
Amnesia has struggled so far, but again, you look at what's happening. That's not what you want to see. That's desperately not what you want to see. Dawes make the swap here over to a Diva of their own, but look at MI7. They're about to come up on 4 ultimates here at the moment. They are in a prime spot to hold on to this point right now, but again, you're about to see a Nanoblade come online here for Amnesia. They need to be able to find 2 members out pretty quickly, because again, if you find 2 members out, you're getting rid of 2 ultimates no matter what.
Bob is ready to go for MI7. So, I mean, I assume as that Nanoblade is going to come out, Lore will probably throw Bob down on to the cart. Here's the Dragon Blade. Bob comes out, you know, pretty much just as expected there. Not under the cart though, as Flames of Raw does get cut down here. This is an interesting fight, weird fight for Amnesia. Brian is so low. Brian burns down by Lure, and I mean, Gliscor will get demeched here, and will more than likely go down. The shield bash going to take down Gliscor, but I mean, what a weird little fight that this has been, both for Amnesia and for MI7, and you know, that headshot does not come through, but you know who does? Tanic B with a Torb Hammer.
Yeah, and right now, overtime has commenced here. It's really all down to Mattson at the moment to get a touch here, and hope the rest of their team comes back, but I just don't think they're going to be able to.
No, I mean, that last fight, you know, early on for Amnesia, they looked good in that fight with the pick on the Flames of Raw. But late, I mean, nobody died after that, it felt like. You know, they got the DMAC on to Gliscor, right? But they couldn't clean up the D.Va fast enough. You know, eventually Noct did find the baby D.Va. But, I mean, raining down hell from above was Lure. And they just couldn't deal with that. And because of, you know, Lure getting all these headshots, you know, burning down Tanic B in the back line, I mean, Amnesia, you know, it's not unwinnable, right?
Yeah, no, this is still
this map. Yeah, this map is well known for fuller holds. If anywhere you're gonna fuller hold, Watchpoint Gibraltar is probably where you're gonna do it. But Amnesia, they need something to go right here.
They absolutely do. But you want to know what? I want to say the reason Amnesia didn't end up getting that push there, because yeah, even though they found Gliscor out there, it was because we saw that Amp Matrix come out from Flames of Raw, and no one on Amnesia wanted to stand in front of that cart or on the cart. They knew they were immediately going to get melted down if they did that here. Amnesia are now playing for their seasons, and Mattson coming out here with the Widow is a make or break pick, in my opinion. If they find the value, guess what? It's going to help them out so much. But look at what MI7's coming out here with.
Yeah, I mean, MI7, they're on the Sigma Brawl composition here. Actually, this is more pokey than Brawl, isn't it? Yeah, I mean, I'm interested. I mean, it's something different here on the attack. You're used to seeing the dive on the attack and the Sigma stuff on the defense. And, you know, this is a change. And, I mean, 30 seconds in, they are already under the bridge. Not even a touch from Amnesia. This is pretty obligatory, like I said earlier. But Lure has not even dropped into wheels form yet. Has not been at the peak of damage. And there we go. The engage tried to come through from Noct, but thrown right back up by Grizzly. And, I mean, Lure dealing a lot of damage, eventually has to leave that wheels form. But Rocket is in no man's land, and Lure knows it. They know where this Ana's at, and this cart, it's just inching closer and closer. In championship, 1 meter, 1.2 meters. Tanic B, Brian goes down to the turret. The turret with 2 for the championship. That will do it. MI7 are your season 11 Transcendence Tier champions.
2 former times the Nostalgia Org was able to beat MI7. 3rd time is the charm for them. They are now, like you said, sitting atop the Transcendence Tier as your Season 11 champions. And honestly, after Nepal, like we mentioned, it seemed like we were seeing an entirely different MI7 team, and Amnesia can never get back to that level that we kind of saw them on Nepal. It just seemed like no matter what they kind of threw at them, we saw just strategic picks and strategic counter picks come out from MI7 to really shut down anything they wanted to do here tonight. MI7, though, they finally get that revenge done. They are finally a champion of Tranquility.
Yeah, I mean, what a series by MI7. Like, the first map, they lost. It was close, right? The next 4? My God, it was a blowout. I mean, what? That MI7, there was no hole that Amnesia could take advantage of after that first map. I mean, Lure, every single time they needed a play, Lure was there to make it. And I mean, just electricity coming from MI7, and they burn Amnesia here. Like, to be honest with you, I have seen some really close games recently. I think that this might have been like the least close 4 maps I have seen in a grand finals recently. Like MI7, once they lost that first map, floored the gas pedal and just ran Amnesia over.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we talked about there. Amnesia, they looked really great on that dive comp. I really don't think MI7 expected on that first map, but you kind of saw the wheels turning there towards the end of Nepal where they were making these swaps that we kind of saw them use throughout the rest of the series to shut down that ball, Sombra and Tracer kind of dive that they were running there. And once they figured out what they needed to do, it was just over for Amnesia. Amnesia, they did, this was a great season for them, but they come up short here again. And honestly, like I asked both the coaches here, what would it mean for them to be champions? And Optical for MI7 really just said that it would mean a lot for him, Fish, and Laura to finally be champions after 2 straight times falling short to Nostalgia, and also getting a little bit of revenge on Nostalgia and Rocket.
Yeah, I mean, they came out, right. I mean, they did everything right. And I want to give out MVP. This isn't really like official or anything, but I think you and I have the same idea of who the MVP of this grand finals is. I think it's got to be Laura. I mean, Laura put on a clinic in all, like even the map that MI7 lost, Laura was, one of, if not the best player in the lobby. And, I think deserves all of the praise just as much as MI7 as a team does.
Yeah, Laura really did show out throughout the night tonight. Again, proving why they were one of those role stars here for the Transcendence tier. They looked great, but I gotta give a huge shout out to Tanikby as well. I kind of mentioned it after New Queen Street. Whenever we saw Amnesia come out on that ball dive comp they wanted to run, Tanikby would be playing the Torb to shut them down. And that's what they play the entirety of Gibraltar as well, the Torb, to shut down Amnesia from even getting to the cart there on that last round. And then you saw Laura also come out on the Bastion there. That's why we didn't see a lot of contests from Amnesia, just because if you threw anyone on cart, you would be hit with the accretion and then immediately melted by the 2 DPS there. I mean, they played that last round perfectly. And like those two, the DPS line there for MI7 looked great tonight. But yeah, I would also agree with you. Laura would probably be my MVP.
Yeah, I mean, they made the plays. They had the moments. They are champions. Congratulations to MI7 for finally getting over the hill, taking down Amnesia 4-1. I mean, I imagine that in their camp they are ecstatic, and they deserve it, right? Unfortunately for us here on Tranquility, that will do it for us tonight. But tomorrow and on Thursday, we've got some really, really exciting news. Both the Ascendant and Discord tier grand finals will have live productions from Philadelphia. All our production crew will be in Philadelphia, to bring you those games. Unfortunately, it'd be a little too expensive to have all the players on LAN. So, that's not what it is. But it is really exciting news that everybody is going to be together in one place for the rest of the week. So I really do think that y'all should be excited. I think this is a big step for Tranquility, and I'm excited.
A big step for Tranquility, big step for Tier 4 Overwatch as well. But Fletch, this was a great series. I want to thank you for being my co-caster. I want to thank everyone behind the scenes as well. I know I'm probably going to forget some, so I'm going to try to remember them all off my head. I want Knock, Beam, Vaati, Kryy, and Orange. I believe that was our production crew tonight. I might be forgetting one. If I am, I'm sorry about that, but they did a great job getting all the angles and all the replays that we saw throughout the night. This was an incredible series, Fletch.
Yeah, and once again, congratulations MI7 on their championship. They finally broke their curse, and they got it done, and they showed everybody they're clearly the best. Only one map dropped through the playoffs, and I mean, there's not a team that deserves it more than MI7, especially after the statement they made. So thank you all for watching, and I really do hope to see y'all all tomorrow and on Thursday for the last 2 grand finals of season 11. So I hope you all have a great night. Thank you.